essay is basically, okay, so it's definitely a difficult thing to come up with a strategy for essay, because the variation in marks is huge. People are getting 90s, people are getting 140s also. So this huge difference, I was going through many toppers' copies and their marks respectively, and then I came to some kind of idea about what might be working for people who are scoring high and what might not be working for people who are scoring less. So that is, one is the essays that are being given are definitely, yes, philosophical, and they are asking us to be argumentative when we are writing philosophical essays or any essays in fact. So a usual way or a usual method people adopt when writing essays is the pestle approach. That is, they are given a topic, they will write about political impact, economic impact, or social impact, or impact on environment and all such things. This pestle approach is something they adopt. But what I did was I made my essay argumentative. What do you mean by argumentative? Argumentative is like you have to open up many dimensions of the essay. For instance, last year there was a question called not all those who wander are lost. So what people might have written is that they might have written something like what does this statement mean in political sphere? What does this statement mean in economic sphere? What does this statement mean in legal sphere and all such things? But I didn't approach the question like this. I made it more argumentative. What did I do was, I started it with an anecdote definitely. Apart from that, I firstly introduced the terms wandering and lost. What do you mean by wandering? What do you mean by lost? There are different meanings. For instance, geographically wandering means just going from point A to point B. Spiritually wandering is different. Some other sense wandering is different. Lost is also different. For somebody, lost is not conforming to social norms. For another person, lost is getting a failure. For another person, lost is not able to put efforts. For another person, like, you know, there are different connotations of what does wandering mean, what does lost mean. So first I try to introduce it with an anecdote, and then I opened philosophical exposition of the terms given. That is wandering and lost. So that the examiner will understand till what level I went into deciphering the topic. So I might have given whatever. I have included all kinds of things in wandering. I have included all kinds of things in lost. What does lost mean in various ways? What does wandering means in various ways? This is how I did. And then I went to the main topic, that is not all those who wander are lost. Definitely. Not all those who wander are lost. Here, yes, definitely I gave examples from all spheres. I gave historical examples and all such things, but I didn't write like historically, politically, economically. That is not what I've written. I just changed the paragraphs, that is it. But I gave examples from diverse fields. After that, I have introduced another argument telling that mindless wandering is a recipe for disaster. Mindless wandering is a recipe for disaster. So yes, I'm agreeing with the examiner that not all those wander are lost, but I'm also giving an antithesis. Antithesis is telling the opposite view, stating that mindless wandering definitely leads to disasters. And that is where I gave the opposite of what I told. But you know, mind it, this is what is the essay topic. This you need to give a major portion. This you just have to include it in a page or something like that. You cannot overdo this, because that is not what has been asked. This is what has been asked. So this, and after that I gave something like suggestions, like mindful wandering. How can you achieve mindful wandering, right? So here, suggestions are not like just any other general studies suggestions. You have to be philosophical also, here also. Or, you know, you can bring your knowledge of ethics over here. Like you can use something like you know, conformity bias and all such things. You can bring in all such concepts and you can tell how mindful wandering can be achieved. So this is what I mean by argumentative. Argumentative is like you have to open up the dimensions of the essay. You cannot write your essay in a linear fashion, that is not all those wander are lost. What is its significance in political sphere, economic sphere, legal sphere? That is outdated. This is what do you mean by argumentative. And this argumentative you have to build up. You have to take a topic and you have to brainstorm what are all the ways you can bring up such arguments. And then apart from that, what is important is that you maintain the flow. It's not like you are just stitching up the pieces of the essay. You have to maintain the flow. That is important. And you can use lots of quotations. You can use summaries of books you have read, which has helped me in my case. I used to read a lot of fiction and non-fiction books, so I had summaries of these books and I quoted those ideas while writing essays. So those ideas will lend a bit of credibility and will help you in substantiating your point, right? So that is extremely important, and they can also help you in writing anecdotes, good anecdotes. So apart from that, your general studies knowledge is important, but essays require practice and brainstorming because this is not easy to achieve, right? This particular argumentative tone, setting up an argumentative tone is not easy to achieve. For that you have to practice or brainstorm. You can take a previous year questions and you can brainstorm that things. Yeah, that is about it. Any other questions regarding anything?